Imagine a world transformed by the power of giving, where every act of kindness sparks another. These are the champions who dedicate their lives to change. Together, they are paying it forward. Champions of change. Paying it forward. Join us and be part of the movement. Here on the Achievement Channel.
Hello and welcome to Champions of Change. I am Pamela Igbo, your host for this journey of inspiration, transformation and action. This is the Achievement Channel and we are reaching you live from our studios at the School of Eloquence, Lagos. This program is dedicated to showcasing individuals and organizations that are creating a positive impact in our communities. We aim to motivate you to get involved and support meaningful causes. Today, our champion of change is Olatoun Gabi-Williams. She is a trustee of the Gabi-Williams Alzheimer's Foundation, which was established in 2018. The foundation recently received the Humanitarian Justice Award for its contributions to elder care. She's a passionate advocate for social change with a history of leading impactful projects. She also founded Sponsor a Child Nigeria, which advocates for children's rights and welfare in institutions across Nigeria. Olatoun, welcome to the show. It's great to have you here and I'm looking forward to our conversation.
It's great to be here, Pam. Thank you for inviting me.
Fantastic. So let's get right into it. So the Gabi-Williams Alzheimer's Foundation is one that is very personal to your family. Could you tell us a little bit more about that experience for you? And also, I'd appreciate if you tell our viewers, for our viewers, what are some of the symptoms of Alzheimer's that we can look out for early detection?
Okay, so the Gabi-Williams Alzheimer's Foundation was founded on my father's 80th birthday, the 11th of September 2017. He'd been suffering, living with Alzheimer's, we say living with Alzheimer's for 10 years then. He went through all the stages, and by the time we inaugurated the foundation on his birthday, Daddy was already close to the 7th stage, which means he was catatonic, he couldn't speak, he couldn't even hold his head up, he was in a wheelchair, he had carers 24/7, he was really sort of not functioning at all. And so, yes, we wanted the guests at the party to see what it looks like, the ravages of Alzheimer's on a man as healthy, as intellectually brilliant, as physical. And my father was very athletic, as my father was. We wanted to show them, we wanted to demystify the condition. We wanted them to see also how terrible the disease is. So yes, it was very, very personal. And we wanted to make sure that people, it's a pandemic. It's a pandemic, global pandemic. And there's so little information, although things are changing now. We wanted to make sure that people weren't confronted with kind of ignorance that we were confronted with, our own, and the ignorance of even the so-called the workforce, that many of whom, the health workforce, they really just didn't know what they needed to know to really help relieve the emotional burden, the practical caring burden, and we set it up to network with them. A growing database network of specialists who could deliver talks, Q&A sessions, and there's so many people that are willing to share their knowledge and expertise, and we wanted to pool it and share it with all the people who needed it.
Right, okay. So what are some of the symptoms we can look out for Alzheimer's? Because obviously it's the most common form of dementia. So what are some of the early stage symptoms that we can look out for?
Flow. We have this mnemonic called flow, and it's stands for, the F stands for forgetting, and it's forgetting all the time and forgetting important things all the time. The L stands for losing your way, losing things all the time. The O stands for overlooking your personal appearance, overlooking your hygiene, personal hygiene, overlooking things you would not normally overlook. Overlooking, you forget to turn off the stove, for instance.
Wow.
That's overlooking. That also comes under F, forgetting. You're forgetting that you have something on the cooker. And the W stands for wandering off. You know, wandering and just losing your way generally, and just wandering aimlessly without any direction. And also the W stands for having to write things down now.
Wow.
So that, yes, the mnemonic is flow.
Right.
Yes.
And so by the time, the end of your father's life, he had all those symptoms?
Oh, yes. I mean, he had those symptoms even earlier than the 7th stage. The 7th stage, you are just not functioning at all. You're not even walking.
Wow.
Because, you know, it's a disease of the brain. It's a degenerative disease. So
Right.
it's the brain that sends the commands to the body to do this and to do that. By that stage, the 7th stage, your brain is really sort of eaten up with the disease.
Wow.
It cannot send those commands.
Sure.
So, you know, Daddy couldn't do anything. Even eating, sometimes the food would be left in his mouth because the brain wasn't sending the command to chew and swallow.
Wow.
It gets as bad as that. It is a terrible thing to look at. So he was exhibiting those symptoms, I would say, by sort of stage 3. And I can't name, you know, the specific, they do have names, but the specific stage, I cannot name it. But I would say that by the middle stage, 3, he would already, all those symptoms were a factor of his life.
Right.
Yes.
Wow, that must have been so hard for you to watch that and see your dad degenerate that way. So I know that the mission of the foundation is one of education and advocacy so that people can understand. Could you just tell us briefly what are the specific ways you've been able to do that since you founded the foundation, and what are some of the challenges, particularly in the Nigerian context, that you faced doing this and how you've navigated it?
Interestingly enough, people are hungry because it's a pandemic and because a lot of families have elderly people who do act strange at a certain age. And they're curious about what might be going on. Is this the normal aging? Is this something else? So we found that in terms of receptivity to the information we're giving, Nigerians have been very receptive, which is great. So they're responsive to the information. We like to work for our outreaches with faith-based organizations.
Okay.
At the moment it's churches, but we want to go into mosques, we want to go to all the faith-based organizations because that's where the people gather. That's where you'll find literally thousands of people, and we can also get them in cell groups in churches as well. So we can go small, we can go big. Yes, challenges, as I said, people, the specialists we work with, this network of specialists we're building, which is growing every day. Nutritionists, public health practitioners, neurologists, gerontologists, geriatrics specialists, neurologists, I've said that already. They're very happy to share their knowledge. They want to be part of the fight against dementia. We may not be able to stop it happening. We can help to prevent it, but we can help people understand it better so it's destigmatized, and we can also help people manage it better. So we find that in terms of responsiveness, there are no challenges. GabiWilliams Alzheimer's Foundation is endowed, but we will be going into fundraising very soon. And also we will be, the brain health of the executive retreat we've put together is a funded program. So we will get money coming in, and that will be interesting as a stage in our journey to see how easy it is to transact.
Sure.
In social enterprise transactions. It'll be interesting to see how well we do. So far, we're giving. It's a charity. We're giving and giving and giving. So there are no challenges in terms of response and receptivity. Yeah.
Fantastic. So you talked a little bit about it being a pandemic earlier, and I must say, when I was doing my research, I was blown away by the numbers. So, I found out that there are 55 million people living with Alzheimer's worldwide. 60% of that number are in low and middle income countries like Nigeria, and it's due to increase to 139 million worldwide by 2050, which is an outstanding number. And by 2030, almost 4 million people will be living with dementia in sub-Saharan Africa. I mean, these are sobering numbers, to say the least. So in terms of the government in this country, what sort of reforms and policies do you need to see to create a robust healthcare infrastructure that will take care of patients and caregivers alike?
Well, we've got the primary health centres. I mean, that's the first point of call. That's a port of entry into the healthcare system, and we need to revitalise them, re-equip them, man them. The National Senior Citizen Centre is working hard with the training of geriatric social care skills, making sure that the workforce is eligible to be the workforce. At the level of training, certification, registration, they're working on a quality assurance model. And that's going to sort of be rolled out. So everyone in the aging space, if you want to go into training, you use that template. So we're looking forward to receiving that. That is extremely important. Revitalize the primary health centers, because that is they're all across the country. I think they're about 33,000 now. Not enough, but that's the first port of entry. Make sure they're properly equipped, properly staffed, and that the staff are properly trained. I was thinking about telemedicine. I think that might be the solution for a lot of the old people. The populations you're talking about, they're going to be living. A lot of them will be living in rural areas. They're already there, and we want to reach them. And we know the infrastructural problems in rural areas. So telemedicine might help. Will help if we can get the government behind it independently and also in private-public partnerships. So we get private sector coming up with platforms for telemedicine, apps for telemedicine, and get government doing something to make it happen, some sort of regulatory framework or even funding. Telemedicine, I think, will really help to alleviate a lot of the suffering of elderly people and people living with dementia in rural areas. It will also, what else can I, the caregivers, for occupational therapists, we recommend that they increase the workforce in occupational therapy, because they are vital for people living with dementia and also the elderly. They help with managing the home environment, making recommendations for modifications, to ensure safety, to prevent falls. They are very useful with care planning, and they're also very useful in training the caregivers. Increase the occupational therapy workforce. Telemedicine is something they really do need to roll out, and that will really go a long way, I think, in alleviating the suffering of the staggering numbers you've just mentioned.
It sounds like there's so much work to be done in this area. But we'll take a quick break now. We'll come back with this incredible conversation when we come back.
Champions of change. Paying it forward. Join us and be part of the movement.
Are you in governance?
You need public speaking.
Are you in business?
You need public speaking.
Are you a professional?
You need public speaking.
Learn how to overcome nervousness and speak with confidence before any audience at the School of Eloquence, the home of public speaking.
Attend our practical and training one-on-one coaching with West Africa's only certified speaking professional in Lagos and Abuja.
Call 0802 3032 066. Log on to schoolofeloquence.org. School of Eloquence,
teaching the world to speak.
Champions of change. Paying it forward. Join us and be part of the movement.
Welcome back to the show, and we're having an incredible conversation so far with Tone. So Tone, tell me, in terms of the community, how can the community get engaged to create more awareness, education, destigmatization of this disease, and so that it can be far-reaching?
Okay, that's a great question. Let's start with the individual. Individuals, you can get involved in the World Days. There's World Elder Abuse Awareness Day on June the 15th. There's the World Alzheimer's Day on the 21st of September. There's the National Day of Older Persons, and we celebrate that here. We mark it on the 10th of October. Now, we have all these. We have the infomercials we've put together, Waiting to Do Mama Dupe, which is in Pidgin English. We have Remembering Tomorrow, Lesson at Obalende Buka. And we can give that to you for you to screen on your personal channels. And also Flow, the mnemonic. It's good to learn it. And on your Facebook Live, go out there and tell people Flow and go through the motions, forgetting, losing, overlooking, wandering off, writing things down. And you can do that. These are ways of recognizing, Alzheimer's type of dementia. So you can also help to distribute IEC materials, follow us on social media, visit our website, keep up to date with our activities, and let us know the kind of things you would like to get involved in. And as for corporates, I really advise that I recommend that they reach out to the National Senior Citizen Centre, the NSCC, which was established in 2017 by the National Senior Citizens Act. And they have this wonderful public-private partnership where they have a prototype of a senior citizen centre, which is a fantastic forum for activities, for events, programs, conferences, talks, libraries, recreation, all sorts of things. It's all encompassing. And they want to roll it out as a public-private partnership. So the corporates provide the funding, they provide the prototype and all the expertise required to make it happen. And the vision is one community, one senior centre for every community in the country. So I think that's a wonderful thing way to get behind the fight against Alzheimer's, dementia, because we're going to have, these are fora where we can listen to talks about it, to destigmatize it, to give information, which is equipping you to really manage living with a person living with dementia. So yes, I think that, does that answer your question?
Absolutely. So that's excellent information. We'll drop the information about your foundation on our channel for people to get in touch. Tell me, in terms of dementia, is it something that can be prevented? What steps can people take to prevent dementia? And presumably, is it just in old people, or do young people suffer from dementia?
Well, elderly people are disproportionately affected, but it's not just older people. You get young people who get dementia as well, but disproportionately older people. I'm loath to use the word prevention, keeping it at bay. Take care of your brain health. It's one of the reasons, well, it's the major reason why we've launched the Brain Health in the Corporate Structure program with our Brain Health of the Executive Retreat. Brain health, the health of your brain is put at risk. Periodontal disease, which is a gum disease, and it's inflammation of the mouth, and it gets into the bloodstream and it affects the brain. Hyperlipidemia is about lipids in the blood, too much fats in the blood, high cholesterol. All these put your brain health at risk. Smoking, reduce alcohol. You don't have to stop it completely, but reduce it. A glass of red wine, with a meal is not going to harm you, but take it easy with the alcohol intake. Smoking, no. Protect your brain health, because Alzheimer's is a disease of the brain. Drink lots of water and keep yourself hydrated, particularly when I remember when you're already suffering from the disease, you need lots of water to hydrate the brain.
That's excellent.
Yes, have I answered your question?
I've learned a lot as we speak. So thank you so much for that. But before we end the show, I wanted to ask you about one of the things which is your passion. Got nothing to do with Alzheimer's, but I thought I must ask because you are a passionate advocate for children's rights. Tell us a little bit about that work, and you've been doing it for 14 years, and what impact you've had and what you want to see for the future with that.
I started Sponsor a Child in 2003, and the last major project ended in 2015 with an award ceremony for all the network of institutions across the country who, orphanages mostly and early learning centers, who had participated in the program. Rights-based childcare is our flagship project, so we ran training programs across the country for caregivers and educators in institutions. We were funded by the Democracy and Human Rights Fund of the American Consulate, the Embassy, and we were funded also by Procter & Gamble, who was our main sponsor for 2 years. We got a global grant to do our work. So rights-based childcare, what are the human rights of children, and how do we integrate the care we provide our children with the rights. The rights cut across the right to survive, that's life, right to develop, that includes education and physical development, psychosocial development, the right to protection, that's protection from abuse, neglect, and the right to participate, recognizing that children learn how to become good, healthy, effective adults if they are encouraged from a very young age. You know, democratic principles, learning how to take turns, learning how to make decisions according to their age group. The Child Rights Act of 2003 has an idea, a theme that runs through it called the evolving capacities of children. So now we look at our children as individuals and we tailor the way we raise them to suit the individual's evolving capacities. So it's no longer this this one size fits all kind of upbringing. You're much more cognizant of the child as an individual. We are more cognizant of the child as having agency. We want to encourage them to think independently, to think critically. So the rights really do help to enshrine those ideas of the agency of children, of their evolving capacities. And we also, through my work now with the UN, I'm a founding partner of the UN Book Club for Africa. And thank you. And what we do is we invite them to become partners in development. So you can do, at your age, with the supervision of your teachers, you can do something in your communities to help, you know, implement the Sustainable Development Goals. So go out there, find something that you can, you know, you don't like, you want to tackle it. Let the teachers take them to the local government and challenge the officials in local government and do something and take, you know, and take their place as citizens of their country and within the community.
Great, that's excellent. We must get you here for another show on children's advocacy. That'll be fantastic. But thank you so much for having, you know, giving your time to talk about Alzheimer's and the wonderful work you're doing with your foundation, and we wish you all the best. It's been great to have Tone here today. All the information about what they do and how you can get in touch will be on our channel. So thank you so much again. It's been great to have you here.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Champions of Change. We hope these stories have inspired you to take steps towards making a difference in your own little way. Change starts with one person, one act, one decision to make the world a better place. Together, we can be the change we wish to see. This is the Achievement Channel. From our studios at the School of Eloquence, Lagos, I am Pamela Igbo. See you next time. Bye.